worried about my reputation, integrity, whatsoever respect that I'm getting from some people of this nation. 18,459,222 voted for me in the last elections.
Sana all.
Is it the position of the commission that if you are against the Sogie bill, you are anti-LGBT?
Against? Come again, Your Honor.
Kung ayaw mo ng Sogie bill, anti-LGBT ka na?
No, Your Honor.
No, di ba?
It would appear that we don't have a consistent human rights foundation. So that's what appeared here today. Paiba-iba yung punto de vista.
President, upon consultation with the staff of the commission, well, according to them, the program for 2024, which you just read, Mr. President, is a typo error. I do not know if you want to believe them or not, but they gave me a program for 2024, Mr. President. And if, with your permission, if I can read it.
No, I'm sorry, Mr. President. I thought I'm having a dream, a nightmare to be more precise, Mr. President. This is a typo error? How could this be a typo error, Mr. President? If you look at this particular slide that I'm showing you right now, Mr. President, the last three items, the FGD with migrant workers and duty bearers. If you look at 2023 to 2024, there is a great amount of effort, if you call it, Mr. President, great amount of effort to edit the regions and delete the regions. Now, in writing the technical report, in editing the ongoing writing of technical report for the second semester. Now, for the validation, November 2023, I mean, no man, Mr. President, no man on his right mind would ever think that this entire programs given to this representation, given to the Senate of the Republic of the Philippines is a typo error, Mr. President. That's unacceptable, Mr. President. If the distinguished sponsor will agree with the representatives of the Commission on Human Rights that this is indeed a typo error, there's something wrong with us, Mr. President. We should all go to mental hospital, Mr. President, if this is a typo error.
Mr. President, if I may.
Please.
Well, I also do not agree with what the staff of the commission had mentioned earlier. That,
May I be allowed, Mr. President, just to ask?
But
is it really the explanation given to
Yes,
the distinguished sponsor?
yes, Mr. President.
Wow. Wow.
And I will just, the program of in 2024 is quite long, Mr. President. If you want me to read it aloud, I can. But if you want me to just submit the programs for 2024, it is up to you, Mr. President.
It's okay, Mr. President. We will just
Because
wait the submission of the 2024 programs, Mr. President.
According
It's
to
just
according to the chairman, Mr. President, he himself does not know why there was a redundancy of the programs of 2024 as compared to 2023.
And who is in charge from the commission who sent these documents to this representation, to the office of this representation? No one is checking? Perhaps they don't realize that we in the Senate actually read documents, voluminous documents, work until 3:18 in the morning? Mr. President, I'm on my first question, Mr. President. And you could just imagine my disappointment, Mr. President, from this Commission on Human Rights. But I am willing to go on, Mr. President, and ask another question, Mr. President, if I may, distinguished colleague. Mr. President, last week, we asked the Commission regarding the stand of the Commission on Abortion after we uncovered that one of CHR's priority programs is the decriminalization of abortion. Also, last week, Mr. President, we received a letter from the Commission expressing its anti-abortion stand. I was given a copy, Mr. President, that is against abortion. What does that mean, Mr. President? Does it mean that it is already abandoning its support on the decriminalization of abortion? Because in the end, we believe that whether abortion or decriminalization of abortion, it is essentially ending a human life, Mr. President. So my question, Mr. President, what is the CHR policy on the right to life? Does the CHR change its position based on the change of leadership? Depende po sa panahon o yung tinatawag na weather lang? For example, Mr. President, let me point out, Mr. President, yung second commission of CHR under Chairperson Navarrete Resina made a clear stand against abortion when it opposed House Bill number 6343, or an act legalizing abortion on specific cases, contending that, and I can go on and on and on, Mr. President. Meanwhile, during our Senate hearing, August 17, 2022, Justice Committee hearing here in the Senate, CHR Executive Director Digia said that one of the priority legislations of the CHR includes the decriminalization of abortion. Mr. President, let me remind the Commission that according to the University of the Philippines Population Institute, an estimated 1.1 million abortions occur every single year in this country. So again, Mr. President, weather na lang po ba? Ano po ba talaga yung policy ng CHR on the right to life?
Mr. President, well, the 1987 Constitution likewise provides for the equal protection of the life of the mother and the unborn child. I think it was expounded by our colleague here during the last hearing, during the last deliberation of the hearing, Senator Alan Peter. By decriminalization, Mr. President, I think the CHR Commission meant that it is still against abortion, but only advocates for an amendment of the law to provide for extreme circumstances, like medical termination, for example, ectopic pregnancy, threatened abortion, and other diseases such as cervical cancer and cancer of the uterus. All that would endanger the life of the mother, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President. I will no longer belabor the issue because I was told that our colleague from Taguig City and Patero, Senator Alan Peter Cayetano, will tackle this particular issue. I just wanted to put on record again that we need to have a strong policy. The CHR should have a strong stand. Hindi ho pwedeng weather lang. As I made an example, yung second commission against yung ngayon, nitong August 17, sabi, prioridad ng komisyon ang decriminalization of abortion. Let me go, Mr. President, to another topic, Mr. President. May we know, and perhaps let me just show a video, Mr. President, during the Pride Month celebration. May I just show a video, Mr. President, for the body's consideration?
Sasalita na ano si Senator Joel na
Because this happened, Mr. President, during the Pride Month celebration.
urge si Senator Joel to
And we wanted to find out if the commission, specifically the chairperson, and the commissioners were informed about this.
Happy Pride sa ating lahat! Ako po si Attorney Twyla Rubin mula sa Commission on Human Rights. Ang Commission on Human Rights po ay kasama ng buong LGBTQIA community para i-celebrate ang Pride Month. At ngayon sa araw na ito, ang aming mensahe, meron kaming isang petition, isang love letter sa ating senador. Hulaan nyo sinong senador? Meron tayong love letter kay Senator Joel Villanueva at ang ating panawagan po, Dear Senator Joel Villanueva, Dear Senators at Senators natin, no, lahat po kayo, sana pakinggan nyo ang boses ng ating LGBTIQ community at ang ating sigaw, anong gusto nating ipasa? Sogie Equality Bill.
Thank you, Mr. President. Let me know if the Commission on Human Rights actually signed the MOA between the CHR and the event organizers in this particular event, Mr. President, and had that petition, as mentioned by a certain Attorney Twyla Rubin, who is also present here today in this gallery. May we know, Mr. President, if there is such a thing as a petition and perhaps a MOA between CHR and the event organizers?
Mr. President, yung nakita niyo po sa video, ito pong nasa likod ko, siya po yung nagsasalita eh. Dun sa, during the event. And according to her, what's your name?
Twyla.
Twyla Rubil. You're a lawyer? Okay. According to her, it is the part of the mandate of the commission to advocate the rights of the LGBT, since the Sogie bill, according to her, has been pending in the Senate or both houses? Both houses for?
May I just get an answer, Mr. President, as to the CHR and the event organizers partnership? Is there a MOA, a partnership, a document that they signed? Is the chairperson aware of the representations made by Attorney Twyla? The commissioners aware
What was that event?
about it? Is she authorized to represent CHR and to echo what she just echoed in this August chamber, Mr. President?
There was no MOA, Mr. President, and I think she was invited to attend the Pride Month.
CHR.
And it was authorized. Whatever she said.
CHR was invited to attend.
Is she authorized, Mr. President, by the commissioners and the chairperson to say what she said?
She was authorized by the chairman. Did you authorize with the focal commissioners?
So the chairman authorized her to say whatever she wanted to say. For example, to petition this representation. Is that correct, Your
No,
Honor?
Mr. President, it was not the chairman of the commission. It was the focal.
So the commission is not authorizing her, Mr. President, because there was a petition and they were having a signature campaign. Is that correct? A petition addressed to this representation.
Only the commissioner authorized her. Focal? What do you mean by focal?
Mahirap po ito, Ginoong Pangulo, sapagkat akala ko po, ang buong pag-aakala ko sa Commission on Human Rights, ang bawat isa, individual
Yung
na Pilipino,
signal mo.
ang bawat karapatan ng bawat isang Pilipino ang nire-represent nila. Hindi po isang sektor lang. Bawat isang mamamayang Pilipino. Senador ka man o hindi,
It was
babae ka man o lalaki, i-represent ka ng Commission on Human Rights.
well, according to her, according to Attorney Twyla, it was upon the approval or upon the consent of the focal commissioner for women.
We have already established, Your Honor, distinguished colleague, that it's not the chairman,
Yes.
it's not the commissioners who authorized her to say whatever she wanted to say, to do whatever she wanted to do. Mr. President, may we know what is the status now of the petition? Are they intending to send the petition to this representation as echoed a while ago in the video clip, Mr. President?
What do you plan to do with the petition?
Because if she's saying that there's a petition, it appears now, Mr. President, that the commission is lying because they did not do anything. I did not get anything from the commission.
Sending it.
I hope I'm
Well, Mr. President, according to the chairman, the petition is still with them.
And they have no intention of sending the petition to this representation as being mentioned on the video, in the video.
Well, according again to the chairman, they do not have any intentions of
So
sending it.
she was not authorized at all, Mr. President.
Well,
Is Attorney Twyla authorized by the commission, by the chairperson and the
not the
commissioner?
chairperson, but the focal commissioner, the
Focal,
one in
one
charge.
commissioner. How many
Yes, the one-
commissioners
The
do
one
they
in
have,
charge,
Mr. President?
I think it is Commissioner Faida Dumarpa.
So there's only one, Mr. President.
Yes,
Ganun po ba ang komisyon? Isang commissioner lang? Desisyon na ng buong komisyon po yung mangyayari? O hindi po? Dapat ho, majority at least of the commissioners, Mr. President. Why is the petition, by the way, addressed to this representation? May we know, Mr. President? Am I the Senate? Is Senator Villanueva the entire Senate, Mr. President?
well, according to the chairman, the majority leader is the chairman on the Committee on Rules. That is why the petition was addressed to you, Mr. President.
So now the chairman is saying he actually authorized the petition?
Not really. It is still the focal commissioner.
confusing, Your Honor, distinguished colleague. I'm really sorry, Your Honor, Mr. President. I am not worried about my reputation, integrity, whatsoever, respect that I'm getting from some people of this nation. 18,459,222 voted for me in the last elections.
Sana all.
Mr. President, I am voted by these people to represent them. And I wonder, Mr. President, why is the commission being manipulated by a certain Attorney Twyla, Mr. President? May we again ask, Mr. President, because the certain Attorney Twyla is behind you, Mr. President, introducing herself in the video as part of the CHR. May we know what is her position in the CHR, Mr. President?
Ano posisyon mo siya dyan? Division Chief of
in charge
of
Center for Gender Equality.
Center
Mahaba yata yung posisyon niya.
Well, she's the officer in charge of the Center for Gender Equality.
Were her statements official, Your Honor? It's a mere yes
It was
or no.
based on a previously released statement, according to her, Mr.
I'm sorry.
It was based on a previously released statement, according to her.
Let me clarify myself, Mr. President. The videos I showed here in this August chamber showing Attorney Twyla saying what she's saying, yung statement po niya, official po ba yun? Statement of CHR? Kasi kanina sabi po hindi eh. So ngayon po ba official na, Mr. Chairman?
about her statements.
Madali lang naman po yung tanong, Ginoong Pangulo. Naggawa po sila ng petisyon, may booth, nagpapapirma para petisyonin si Senator Villanueva. At sabi po, noong representante ng CHR, yun po ang kanilang posisyon. So ang tanong ko lang po, napakasimple. Ito po ba ay official na posisyon ng CHR? Sa yes or no answer, Mr. President. I don't think kailangang i-explain pa po, Mr. President. Hindi ho ba? I'm being tempted to lift the rules, Mr. President.
No, Mr. President, it's okay.
No, wala nga. So, sa tao ngayon,
So your state
di ba sa tao ngayon, Akala nila, binigay sa akin.
It's your statement of official.
Statement.
Yung sinabi mo sa video, 15% official. Yes.
It's based on this.
Based, to conduct a hearing.
Mr. President, nakatayo po si sponsor natin ako.
Mr. President, as far as their attendance is concerned, it is official. And based on what Attorney Twyla had mentioned in the video that you showed, based on the position of the commission, calling it was official on her part because she was calling for the Senate to conduct.
Calling me, Mr. President.
Yes.
You have heard her.
Calling you to conduct a hearing with regard to the Sogie.
Not really conduct a hearing, Mr. President. What I heard is there's a petition for me, for this representation. So again, may I ask for 100 times, Mr. President, is that an official statement coming from CHR? Yes or no? It's a yes or no, Mr. President. Mr. Chairman. I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, is that an official statement? Is that your position? Why is it so hard to answer?
Well, supporting the Sogie bill, Sogie Equality
Mr.
Bill
President,
is part of the official stance.
I don't want to listen anymore, Mr. President, because I think my question is very simple. Is the statement made by Attorney Twyla the official stand of CHR?
Yes,
Yes?
yes.
You are calling, petitioning this representation? That is your position?
And other senators. Bakit si Joel?
No.
Senator Joel.
Okay, Mr. President, if that is your position, may I just move, Mr. President, that we lift and suspend the Senate rules so that the chairperson of the Commission on Human Rights would answer directly to the questions of this representation?
Is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion of the majority leader is carried.
Mr. President, maybe the best person to answer your questions is the...
Mr. President, I'm sorry. I asked 100 times if this is the position of the commission, and the chairperson said it is the position of the chairperson, and therefore the chairperson should be responsible enough to answer these questions.
All right, if that is your...
It is not, Mr. President, the commission is not giving me any choice here, Mr. President. They're saying that this is their position. It is their position to put up booths, Mr. President, petitioning this representation. Petitioning this representation. How else do you want me to react, Mr. President?
Okay, I will yield the floor to the chairman of the commission, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Will the chairman of the Commission on Human Rights take the floor?
Thank you, Mr. President. Chairman, magandang umaga po.
Magandang umaga po.
I hope that you are aware of what you just declared in this August chamber, that it is your position, Mr. Chairman, to have a petition addressed to this representation, to have someone from CHR by the name of Attorney Twyla to represent your commission and say what she just mentioned on the video screen that I showed you, Mr. Chairman. Now, my question, Mr. Chairman, if that is your position, may I know, Mr. Chairman, if you were able to read this representation's bill on the comprehensive anti-discrimination? May I know, Mr. President?
Not personally, Your Honor.
You haven't read about it?
There's a specific office in charge of.
Sorry, Mr. President. You have this position about Sogie bill about a petitioning a senator of the Republic of the Philippines, and you have no idea of the bills that this representation had been espousing for the past 2 Congresses, the anti-discrimination bill. How could you have that position if you have never even read any of the bills that this representation has been espousing?
We equally support, Your Honor,
No, it's totally different, Mr. President.
Pero nga ako nung ano.
How could you come up with such a decision without even knowing?
May I be allowed to explain?
Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, just to put it in the proper context.
So I'm not in the proper context?
No, Your Honor. It's not what I meant, Your Honor. It's how this commission works, Your Honor. The commission is composed of 4 at the moment, 4 commissioners, 1 chair and 3 commissioners. We divide the works of the commission based on focal themes. So, in matters affecting gender, concerning gender and sexual orientation and expression, it is handled by a focal commissioner. This activity, I'm sorry, Your Honor. This activity, Your Honor, was presented by the focal commissioner on gender to the commissioner en banc, and she represented that the commission would be participating in this event. And so the commission...
Can I cut you there, Mr. President? Because you're saying there's a focal. Hindi ba bago kayo magkaroon ng stand, kailangan yung mga commissioners, kayong lahat, pinag-uusapan po muna ito, hindi mauuna may focal, nag-decide na yung focal, tsaka nyo lang i-decide kung kailan kayo magkakaroon ng posisyon, Mr. President?
Your Honor, on matters of advocating for the passage of the Sogie law, the commission has a stand that is to advocate for the passage of that law.
Okay, let's just to cut to the chase, Mr. President, okay? You made mention and you admitted that you have never read this representation's bill on anti-discrimination law. Anti-discrimination bill. Is that correct, Mr. President?
Yes, Your Honor. Personally, Your Honor.
Unfortunately for me, Mr. President, hindi nyo pa pala nabasa, pe-petitionin nyo na itong representation na to. Hindi nyo po ba bina-violate ang karapatan ng representasyon na ito?
Well,
Hindi po ba ako po pwedeng madinig muna yung aking adhikain at ang mga panukalang batas na aking inihain dito sa Senado? Bago po kayo magdesisyon na pipetisyonin niyo po ako, bago po kayo magdesisyon na tatayo sa entablado, yurakan ng aking pagkatao, wag na po ako, yung ibang tao na lang. Hindi po ba tama bilang Commission on Human Rights? Hindi po ba?
Your Honor, it's part of the mandate of the Commission on Human Rights to advocate for measures.
To disrespect a member of the Senate?
We are not allowed to disrespect a member of the
How do
Senate,
you
Your
think
Honor.
you would feel, Mr. President, Mr. Chairman, if I would be on the other side of the fence, na hindi ko kayo pakikinggan, na hindi ko po babasahin kung ano yung inyong programa, kaya nga ho pinakita ko kanina eh, pinasubmit ko kayo ng programa, bago ko sabihin na, uy, pare-pareho pala, kinat and paste nyo lang. Masama, hindi ko kayo pinagsalita at sinabi ko nga, akusahan ko pa ho kayo kaagad na cut and paste lang ang ginagawa niyong programang sinasubmit. Hindi ho, tinanong ko ho muna, galing ho ba sa inyo to? Hindi ho ba yun ang tamang proseso?
Your Honor, regarding the activity, yes, we agreed for the CHR to participate in that activity. But with regard to the petition, Your Honor, it was later found out by the Commission after the event. That's why what we directed, the written petition was never sent to the good senator, as it has to undergo.
Sabihin, Your Honor, si Attorney Twyla lang ang nakakaalam ng petition.
Attorney Twyla,
Siya
Your
po yung
Honor.
nagbanggit eh.
Attorney Twyla and the focal commissioner.
Kaya siya lang po yung nakakaalam. So ibig sabihin
The focal
po,
commissioner.
mali po yung binanggit nyo kanina, it is your official position to come up with a petition addressed to this representation, which you never give.
The petition, yes, Your Honor, because it was Attorney Twyla and the focal commissioner. On the official position of the commission as a whole,
May nakakaintindi pa sa amin dito. Hindi ko alam kung puyat lang ho ako at matagal lang nagtatrabaho. Hindi ko ho naiintindihan. Kasi ho, napakaklaro naman po eh. Posisyon po ba ng komisyon o hindi? Ngayon, hindi nyo na posisyon. Si Attorney Twyla na lang at focal person.
Mr. President, if I may, do you have any plans of sending the petition to the majority leader?
yes, Your Honor, there was a discussion already by the commission and bank on this petition.
Yeah,
When
what-
we learned about it, it was the decision of the commission to not submit the petition letter, but to communicate with Senator Villanueva and the other senators through a formal communication, Your Honor.
Dahil kawawa naman yung tao. Dahil pagkatapos nyo yurakan, well, I'm sorry for bringing this out. Pagkatapos nyo yurakan ng pagkatao ng isang miyembro ng Senado, tapos hindi nyo bibigay yung petisyon sa kanya, itatago nyo na lang, eh the harm has been done. No? Eh, what for is that petition kung hindi nyo ipapadala kay Senator Villanueva? Curious lang.
The intention, I think, Your Honor, by our office on the Center for Equality and Gender is to submit the petition to Senator Villanueva. But
It is the decision of the commission not to submit, not to forward the petition to the
Yes, Your Honor.
senator. All right. Have you made representations with Senator Joel? Have you talked to him?
Not yet, Your Honor.
Not yet. When do you plan to talk to him?
Mr. President,
Wait, Mr. President, if I may. Itong nangyari, June pa daw, no? June. Okay? June of this year. Ano na ngayon? November. 5 months. Tama ba? 5 months? 5 months has passed. And you never even attempted to talk to Senator Villanueva.
Actually, Your Honor,
About
before the hearing, the committee hearing, Your Honor, we were seeking audience with the good senator.
Like, kung wala pang budget hearing, talaga wala yata ko yung plano kausapin si Senator Joel.
Because, Your Honor, the matter was decided by the commission first. It was discussed by the commission. And it was the consensus that time not to send the petition, but to formally communicate instead. Because we recognize that the commission is still a government office and we can always do our advocacy through formal communication.
Mr. President, can I interject? With the permission of Senator Joel and Senator Estrada. Thank you for that clarification, Mr. Chairman. That was a very good clarification. Konting clarification lang, no? Kasi tama po yung sinabi mo, Mr. Chairman, CHR na context, di ba? Context. So, is it the position of the Commission that if you are against the Sogie bill, you are anti-LGBT?
Against, come again, Your Honor?
Kung ayaw mo ng Sogie bill, anti-LGBT ka na?
No, Your Honor.
No, di ba? Okay. So what is the context kay Joel Villanueva? Have you read yung mga statements sa kanya by some in the LGBT community?
Your Honor, the petition came after the delay in the deliberation of the
Okay.
Sogie.
Let me answer first please answer my question first. No? Tinatanong kita kung hindi mo gusto yung Sogie bill, anti-LGBT ka ba? Sabi mo hindi. And I like that answer. Diba? Because there's a difference between allowing discrimination against LGBT and the provisions of the Sogie bill. Magkaiba yun.
Yes, Your Honor.
There are people who are very much against. I think everyone in the Senate is against any form of discrimination through the LGBT community. Pero hindi ibig sabihin pag may objections ka sa certain provisions sa Sogie, you're anti-LGBT.
Tama.
So before you answer your own questions na inaabot sa iyo ni attorney because hindi naman yun ang tanong, please answer our questions. My question is, are you aware of the context of statements of some in the LGBT community kay Senator Joel? No, I'm asking you, Mr. Chairman. Don't look at them because I'm not asking them. I'm asking you. Are you aware? Are you aware?
Opo.
O anong sinasabi nila about Joel?
On the Sogie, particularly,
Yeah.
Your Honor, nagkakaroon na ho ng delay dun sa deliberation
ano pa?
ng Sogie
Ano pa?
bill.
No, I'm asking you the context. What are they saying about Joel?
Yun po ang alam ko na ano.
Oh, so hindi ka nga aware. Kasi
May delay.
they're saying he's a bigot, they're saying he's anti-LGBT.
Yes po, opo, tama po.
So alam niyo 'yon.
Yes, sir.
Oh, so if you go on stage and you say, "Ma, pirmahan niyo 'to." Kasi nandun. So you're feeding, that's the context. Di ba, ma'am? I don't know if that was the intention or not. I don't know you personally. I respect your views. I respect the fact that you like the Sogie bill. But we have to find some agreement here. Di ba? So there are some bills na ayaw ko. So if I don't want rice tarification, am I anti-agriculture? Am I anti-farmer? Di ba? So yun yung context kasi doon eh. 'Di ba? So kailangan ba mag-petition pa kami sa inyo na isubmit niyo yung petition sa amin?
Hindi po.
Oh, but with that 6 months, then those statements against his person, and everything, do you now understand the context?
Opo.
Oh, so do I have to read to you the Universal Declaration of Human Rights?
No need, sir.
Oh. So, did you not violate the right of a senator? Wag na nga senator, as a person. Kasi dapat tayong senador at kayo sa commission, tayo nagpapababa dapat ng temperatura nung hindi nagkakasundo eh. Paano tayo magkakaroon ng tamang batas na papayagan ng dalawang extreme? Yung ayaw sa LGBT community at yung namang galit dun sa ayaw sa Sogie pero hindi naman anti-LGBT. So kung papaypayan natin pareho, magkakasundo ba tayo? So what is the intention of the commission? To pass laws that protect LGBTs or to vilify senators who are not for the Sogie bill?
For the recognition of the rights of the Sogie, the LGBT, Your Honor.
Oh, that's right. There are no other bills that does that.
Meron po yung comprehensive anti-discrimination.
Yeah, and for others that is not acceptable, we respect that.
When we equally support yung both
Yes,
the...
but that's not my point eh. The
Yes, Your
point is nga, the commission is now a partisan in hitting the majority leader because he has some concerns with some provisions in Sogie. And because in social media, in the public, in rallies, pinapalabas na anti-LGBT siya, that's very unfair. Do you know Renan Eusebio?
No, Your Honor.
Can you ask si Attorney Tuala kung kilala niya?
Renan, Yusef.
Secgen siya ng LGBT at head siya ng LGBT sa Bulacan. Nationwide. One of the best friends ni Joel. Oh. Do you know Alex Corbonel?
No, Your Honor.
O pareho lang tayo. Sino ba Brad si Alex Corbonel? Hindi. Okay. That Alex Carbonell. Okay. That no, but ang point ko, I mean, I'm trying to lower the temperature, ma'am, sir. But the point is nga, if we want to pass the laws, may I ask chairman or yung buong grupo niyo, no? Nakikita niyo yung sa US Congress ngayon? Hindi ba nasa bastusan stage na sila? Di ba? Democrats and Republicans, yung pro and anti-LGBT. Hindi na pro anti-Sogie eh. Pro anti-LGBT na eh. So hindi na nagkakaintindihan. I mean, sa abortion, which is my main topic, you cannot be in between eh. It's either you're pro or anti-abortion, pro-life or pro-choice, di ba? But dito nililito nga ang tao eh, na kung may problema ka to certain provisions ng Sogie, ako, isa ko talaga yung provisions. And I've been talking to pastors and priests kung saan ako walang problema at saan ako may tanong doon. Diba? And I've been blessed na I haven't been marked na anti. Maybe it's also my association with some in the LGBT community. I don't know. But I know how Joel feels. Kung baliktarin naman natin, di ba? Kung parang palalabasin natin na yung pro-Sogie sa inyo, di ba, is anti-Christian. Hindi rin naman totoo yun, di ba? Di ba you can be LGBT but pro-Christian?
Tama po.
Di ba? Meaning you love Christians and Christians can love you. Some of the LGBT are proclaimed to be Christians. Some Christians who hate LGBT proclaim to be Christians, pero hindi yun ang tinuturo sa Christians community. You're supposed to love everyone. Diba? So on both sides, may extreme eh. So I guess the bottom line nito is you're singling out a senator sa konteksto na pinapalabas siyang LGBT, anti-LGBT, tapos gusto nyo, pondahan pa namin budget nyo.
Naintindihan ko po yung...
So if you tell me to fund your budget because eto mga paniniwala nyo and you will be active in the Senate, you will go to his office, you will ask him ano ba problema, you will try to bridge between Senator Risa, the good author of that, and I would testify, I disagree with some provisions, but I would testify napakasipag at hindi nga niya ako tinetext sa ibang bagay, pero tinetext niya ako about that na sana maupuan natin, di ba, Senator Risa? You there. Yung araw that they were international guests here, she came to all of us. Can we at least take it up? Kasi nga, this is a worldwide ganyan. So, may respetuhan. I never heard Senator Risa, at least harapan, call me anti-LGBT. But she knows my concern ako. I've never called her naman names or questioned her faith or her religious beliefs or anything because she's the author of Sogie Bill. So siguro I'll end with that question, di ba? What kind of discussion does the Human Rights Commission want? A discussion where we respect each other's human rights o gusto nyo bastusan?
Yung may respeto ho sa each other's human rights, of course.
So if there was a 10,000, 100,000 conservative Christian rally and I go there and start shouting na i-petition natin si ganito, i-petition natin si ganon, i-petition natin ganyan kasi mali ang Sogie. Would you think I'm just anti-Sogie or you would think I'm anti-LGBT?
Well,
Honestly, I mean we're talking tapatan eh. So if I wasn't a senator, okay lang kasi kung yun ang stand ko, di tawagin niyo rin ako. But as a senator, I'm a senator of everyone. Di ba? Hindi ako naniniwala sa apat na asawa. May mga kaibigan akong Muslim like Adel Tamano, like Robin Padilla, na isa lang asawa. But if they tell me that ang paniniwala nila ay pwedeng apat, I respect their belief, they respect my belief. Di ba? Hindi ako tumatayo sa stage at sabihin, papirmahin natin na si Robin, talikuran ng paniniwala niya, dapat isang asawa lang. Diba? Kasi there's a thin line between believing in monogamy and being anti-Muslim. Magkaiba yon. So kami ni Robin, parati kaming magkausap. Did I ever make you feel, Senator, that I'm anti-Muslim? But you know, I'm a Christian, di ba? Oh. And he's never made me feel that he hates Christians. In fact, he makes me feel loved. Kaya nga magkabarkada kami. Diba? So, yun lang ang tanong ko. I know you have very strong feelings about it. And I know si Attorney Twyla, you're representing a sector who wants certain changes in the country, but you're not gonna get it if that's going to be your strategy. Diba? That's why nga sabi ko, kung nasa labas ka ng commission, yun ang strategy mo, anong magagawa natin? Kung nasa labas ako ng Senado, yun ang ano ko, anong magagawa nyo? Pero nasa loob ako ng Senado, representing the Senate, di ba? Hindi pwede yon. So the last point I wanna make is this. Hindi namin matanggap yung inyong definition ng focal. Kasi in any commission, kaya nga kayo commission, consensus-driven kayo. At the very worst case, majority. So you make a decision first, then you assign it. So the Supreme Court does not assign it to a ponente, and then the ponente tells the majority kung ano gusto niya. Hindi. May decision muna sila. So sometimes nga may dalawang ponente. Yung sa negative, positive. Kung saan ang majority, ikaw ngayon magsusulat. So don't wash your hands. Diba? So it's either you authorize that focal at yan ang stand ng commission or baliktad. Hindi yun ang stand ng commission at ultra vires o lumampas na yung focal person mo sa pwede niyang sabihin. Diba? So, gawin natin klaro yun. Kasi kung hindi maintindihan ng someone like Joel Villanueva, who's a very bright person, who's a very patient person, kanino ba tong statement? Is it personal? And did she go overboard and use the name of the commission? Is it a stand of the commission, etc., etc.? And you, ma'am, pasensya na, if there's one thing lang that I disagree with you tonight, this morning, yung sinabi mo, your statement is based on, diba? Kasi I can be shouting at all of you. Then he said, saan galing yung statement? That's based on the Bible. Wala naman sa Bible na pagsisigawan ko kayo eh. Wala rin sa Bible na i-konteksto ko kayo na ganito-ganito kayo tapos sabihin ko ganun ang gawin nyo. Diba? So, kasi kung yun ang stand nyo, you could have said that during the parade. Diba? Now, we want change in this country. The Senate should be for change. The Sogie bill is stuck. Diba? The CHR will advocate para magbago. Diba? Eh, hindi ganun eh. Na-personal tayo eh. Diba? I mean, excuses na lang eh, na kay Joel, na kay ganyan, etc., etc. tayo. Diba? So, let me end there. Diba? But ang point ko nga, sabi nga ni Senator Tolentino sa akin, alam mo, simple lang to eh. Pag may nagkakamali, mag-sorry, di sorry. But ang problema kasi dito siguro, pareho tayong nag-iiwas na pag nag-sorry, we're not saying sorry for our sector that we represent or for the advocacy that we're fighting for. Diba? So ako, I respect what you're fighting for. I respect your advocacy, etc. But the way you did it, na commission kayo ng CHR, is not acceptable. It's not being done in a civilized way. Even in a rally, even in a setting ng rally. But it's also a reminder for me. Pag nag-attend ako ng kahit anong rally, etc., I have to remind myself I'm a senator. Except siguro during the campaign period, di ba? Kasi nga, hinihiwalay mo talaga yung, yung sa issue eh. Di ba? So, Mr. Chairman, would you want a few minutes to confer? And
Yes,
to come out with something para matapos natin tong issue na to, at least kay Senator Villanueva.
Yes, please.
If you want to make an appeal after 2-3 minutes of talking them, appeal, Senator, we're hoping that you will take up the Sogie bill. So that's good. Pero narinig mo din siya. He's saying, we're hoping the commission will also look at the comprehensive discrimination bill. So let's listen to each other. But then you can make a stand. You can say na, in the opinion of the CHR, mas powerful ang Sogie kasudan. So we can agree and to disagree. Kung ganon. Diba? Ako, I'll read both. So, Mr. President, can we give them a minute just to confer and just to, then of course, feel free to say what you really want to say. No? Hindi naman puwersahan to eh.
Yes, Your Honor.
Session suspended for a minute. We'd like to hear the response of the chairperson of the Commission on Human Rights.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Starts with this majority leader. Yes, please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President, Your Honors. We regret how the Senate felt about what happened about the petition, especially Senator Villanueva. The CHR commits in improving the its processes. As our mantra says, kami ang CHR ng lahat, naglilingkod maging sino ka man. And we are fully committed to work with the entire Senate in refining the Sogie Equality Bill, and so we equally support the comprehensive anti-discrimination bill.
Mr. President, akala ko po hindi pa niya nabasa, pero support na po siya. But I'll take it, Mr. President. But may I just be clarified, Mr. President, again, for the last time, may I ask if they regret the fact that this happened? The statements made by Attorney Tuayla. So are they now saying that what happened and the statements made by Attorney Tuayla is not the position of the Commission on Human Rights?
Yung position, yung statement. But it's not an official statement.
It's not an official statement, Your Honor, of the commission.
So it is not the official stand of the position. And that's why, as you mentioned, Your Honor, the commission regret what happened. Regret the fact that someone from CHR misrepresented the commission. Is that a correct statement, Your Honor?
The statements uttered by Attorney Twyla, Your Honor, during that
Does not reflect the position,
the position
of the entire
the
commission.
entire commission, Your Honor, but the commission has a stand on the passage of the Sogie law.
I don't mind, Mr. President. I will accept that. So meaning to say, the actions, statements made by a representative of CHR is not the position of CHR.
Yes, Your Honor. During that activity.
During that activity, the video that was played in this August chamber. Thank you, Mr. President. I accept that statement made by our chairman, but let me also put into the records, Mr. Chairman, kung magkaiba po ang nangyari. For example, may tumayo po sa stage, kunyari sa stage ng isang event, ang isang CHR official, at sabihin po magpipetisyon din po siya doon sa author ng Sogie. Baligtarin po natin. Anti-Sogie naman po siya, Mr. President. Tatayuan ko din po yun, Mr. President, because I don't think CHR is doing its job by protecting the rights of a senator. Kahit po baligtad kami ng posisyon. I just wanted to put that on record, Mr. President. Mr. President, before I move to another,
Mr. President, Mr. Majority Leader, I just would like to echo what the chairman had mentioned earlier, that it was the official stand of the commission. And may I ask if you are retracting your previous answer to me? Because don't make me look like a dumb senator here. Because I was just relaying to my colleagues what your answer was.
I'm very
When
sorry,
I
Your
was
Honor.
asking you if it was the official stand of the commission, and you answered me in the affirmative side, Mr. President.
I'm very sorry for that, Your Honor. It was the official stand of the commission to advocate for the passage of the Sogie bill, Your Honor. But with regard to the actions that were made during that activity, no, Your Honor.
I think that's clear now, Mr. President.
Yeah, may I add
Thank
to
you.
that?
Mr.
Majority Leader, may I add to that? And I'm glad that we realized the folly of what had gone on, Chairman, is because once it becomes, well, we understand, I mean, we're in public service, we cannot be onion-skinned, but
we're not
when it comes, we're not onion-skinned, but, and I've had experiences where effigies have been burned when I was majority leader during the time of the previous administration when we passed the measure, and our effigies were being burned in front of the Batasan. It's par for the course. It's okay. We grow to take it. But when it comes from a government agency, di ba? Kasi nangyari, I think, and I feel for Senator Joel, because when that video had come out in a big crowd like that, obviously kaagad yung mga messages sa kanyang Facebook, social media, you're a bigot, why are you like that, masama kang tao, parang asama ng you're homophobic and all that. And I know this man very well, and he's got a lot of good friends that are from the LGBT community, and he looks at them equally like everyone else. So I think that's the difference there. So if it was an NGO that's shouting our names and insulting us on stage, okay lang po yun. But when it's a government agency that tells people that there's a senator or a congressman who is against our measure, we obviously know that we will be getting a barrage of hate text. And your Commission on Human Rights, we also have human rights, right? We also have the right to defend ourselves. We also have a right to live peacefully on this earth that we love, in our country that we love. So, once the hate texts, kanina nga, nakatanggap kami ng hate text, may isang ahensya, isang head of agency, tinext si Senator Risa, tinext ako, tinext yung mga senator. Ano ba kayo? Bilisan nyo. Tatagal nyo dyan. I mean, she didn't even know Senator Risa padala lang ng text hate to the lady, and we got pretty much upset because that's not how we function in a civilized society. So, we can agree to disagree, but let's be agreeable on how we do it. Diba? We have to be able to, show some respect to each other. Not just because we're senators, but just to each other. Because once you're in a gathering like that, and I go to a gathering and I say that, and I mention a particular individual, for sure there's going to be a reaction of hate, support and hate from the community. So that, I guess, that is how my colleague, that's how he felt. And we commensurate with him. We've been through that before, many times, many occasions. So I hope you understand where we're coming from, Chairman.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you, Mr. President, Your Honors.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just ask, Mr. President, among the basis of discrimination, is there such thing as a hierarchy, Mr. Chairman? Hierarchy, for example, is Sogie-based discrimination more important than discrimination based on age, the discrimination based on health, ethnicity, discrimination against color, or height, Mr. President? May hierarchy po ba ito? Because it appears, Mr. President, dun sa nangyari nga po, parang we're putting more emphasis on this when Filipinos are also being discriminated based on other factors, Mr. President. But again, I think Senator Cayetano founded this last time, no less than our Constitution. The 1987 Constitution mandates the CHR to protect and promote the rights and dignity of every human being in the country.
There's no such hierarchy, Your Honor, in terms of
So
discrimination.
it's the same po.
Yes, Your Honor.
Kaya po kasi, for example, Mr. President, and I don't know if CHR made a statement when religious people were offended by that certain person, ano ba yung name niya? Si Pura Vega, if I'm not mistaken. May we know if CHR made a statement about it? Kasi na-offend po yung religious sector. In fact, doon po sa Maynila, sa Bukidnon, sa iba't ibang lugar ng Pilipinas, nag-file po sila ng kaso doon po sa tao na yun. Kasi kasi karapatan din po. Hindi naman pwede yung karapatan mo pagbibigyan kita at the expense nung isang individual.
There was no press statement,
hindi po
official
kayo.
statement
So,
issued, Your Honor.
yun nga po, sir. Kaya po, siguro naitanong ko kanina, baka may hierarchy. Kasi parang mas mataas yung hierarchy pagka gender issues yung pinag-uusapan. Pero yung religious sector, hindi natin na po protektahan. Tingin ko po, mandato rin ng CHR, yung binabanggit ng ating konstitusyon, to protect and promote the rights and dignity of every human being in the country. Noong pong isang araw, there's this trans po yata, Miss Jade So, performer din siya, ng drug performer din po siya. She claimed na yung personnel po of a waxing salon repeatedly misgendered her and was hesitant to give her service for not disclosing that she was not female. Doon po sa storya na yon, naisip ko lang po kasi yung worker, hindi siya komportable na mag-Brazilian wax na lalaki po pala siya, pero ang feeling niya babae po siya, pero babae po yung worker. I feel, Mr. President, Mr. Chairman, na dapat protektahan ko din po yung manggagawa, yung karapatan ng manggagawa, na hindi po siya komportabling gawin yun. And yet, binatikos po siya na sabi, dapat gawin niya yun. Parang, ang hirap po kasi yun po yung ino-objectan ko doon sa Sogie Bill noong nakaraang pagdinig dito sa Senado. Kasi ang gobyerno parang force ba ako ng gobyerno, katulad doon sa example na yon, na gawin ko yung bagay na hindi ako komportabling gawin? Na i-subject mo ako sa isang bagay na hindi ako komportabling gawin? Opo, nandun yung respeto ko. Pero para pilitin po ako na gawin po yun, parang ano ho yung karapatan ng isang manggagawa? Again, may question, Mr. President. Meron po bang statement ang CHR para protektahan yung pong karapatan noong manggagawa na yun dun sa isang waxing salon?
Wala pa hong na-isyong statement ng Commission on Human Rights tungkol dito,
Salamat po,
but we will look
Mr.
into
Chairman.
it, Your Honor.
Marami pong salamat. I think, Mr. Chairman, distinguished colleagues, makikiusap po ako at aapil kahit kay Senator Risa sa ating mga kasamahan, supporter ng Sogie Bill. Makikiusap po ako, buong pagpapakumbaba. Baka po pwede na lahat ng sektor, galangin lang natin sa CHR. Parang awa nyo na po. Protektahan natin yung kanilang mga karapatan. Yan po ang ating mandato. Yan po yung dahilan bakit po ako nakatayo dito, hindi po para sa aking sarili. Sapagkat alam ko, ito yung tama, ito yung dapat gawin. For the information of everyone present here today, what I mentioned to the chairman before he left me here in this August chamber, here in this particular spot, I just asked him, and please confirm this, Mr. Chairman, to just do the right thing. Just do the right thing. Just do the right thing. Ayaw natin na may tatapakan na karapatan just because we wanted to please one individual, one particular sector at the expense of another. I hope, Mr. Chairman, I can go on and on with questions, but I think it's also crystal clear, Mr. President, Mr. Chairman, na importante ho, maiparating natin yung tamang mensahe sa ating mga kababayan. Ano man ang relihiyon mo, ano man ang paniniwala mo, ano man ang kulay mo, dapat protektahan ang iyong karapatan. Sapagkat yan ang sagradong mandate ng bawat isa sa atin bilang mga kawani ng pamahalaan to uphold and protect the rights of every individual, of every Filipino. Maraming salamat, Mr. Chairman. Maraming salamat, Mr. President, for your patience. Mr. President, may I move that we recognize Senator Alan Peter Cayetano to ask some questions.
Yeah, we'll just appeal to the good gentleman that it's 4:30 in the morning. I would like to come home with the still being dark,
Yes.
rather than with the sun out, because
Yes, Mr.
I
President.
haven't stayed up this late since
In
for a few years.
fact, Mr. President, I think I have a solution para ma-exhaust tong issue na to, pero hindi na tayo tumagal dito. I-recap ko lang, Senator Joel, thank you for accepting the explanation that officially her statement was unofficial, but unofficially it was official. And just to reiterate yung example ni Senator Villanueva, our majority leader, kung nagkataon na ang presidente inappoint at pinuno ng conservative religious leaders ang CHR, and then nagkaroon ng rally, and then nandun sila sa rally na yung mga author ng ng Sogie Bill, petitionin natin, puntahan natin, anuhin natin, etc. We would have said the same thing sa inyo. If yun yung stand nyo, do it in your individual capacity. But as the CHR, meron kayong duty, di ba, to do it a certain way and in a way that promotes better communication with everyone. But we have to all admit that these are sensitive issues that we all get carried away, no? So, my question lang kasi sa statement nila, but I will not argue with them, but since the chairman is there. Chairman, sinabi nyo kasi anti-abortion na nga kayo, pero may kasunod kasi po na statement, as the national human rights institution of the country, we shall continue to support the international human rights framework, its mechanisms and recommendations, including the rights of women. What is the international human rights framework?
Your Honor, the human rights treaties where the state is a signatory of, one of which is the Convention on the Elimination of Discrimination Against Women.
Mr. Chairman, 100% yun, but that has nothing to do with abortion. So,
Yes, Your Honor.
yeah, kaya lang dinugtong nyo pa rin dito when ang hinihingi namin is about abortion. So I'm concerned that when you, kasi yung ibang extreme, pinapasok nila na pagka wala yung right of choice, wala yung abortion, you're anti-women. So kasi nakalagay dito, and the recommendation. So what if there's an international human rights framework na sinasabing the right of women includes the right to choice? Sasang-ayon tayo doon as a country?
Actually, Your Honor, we can refer to the recommendation of the SIDO in the.
Yeah. Anyway, Mr. Chairman, sige. I talked to Senator Tolentino and I really admire the way he holds hearings point by point. And I think this issue deserves more discussion. And in the same way, we said here dapat yung pro-anti Sogie bill, pro-anti-discrimination mapakinggan natin. So we should also listen to those who are saying may right of choice, etc. So I'll just get confirmation officially, but sabi ni Senator Tolentino, he would agree to hear this at the committee level. May I just make this one statement, no? If you read and please let's all read this, yung discussion sa constitutional commission, kasi dun mismo binanggit na kapag ka yung health ng mother is in danger, hindi to against the constitutional na piliin mo yung mother. No, so let me finish, Mr. President, with reading that, then just asking Senator Tolentino to confirm. No, this was on September 16, 1986. Na question ni Mr. Suarez, Commissioner Suarez, si Commissioner Villegas, at eto ang sinabi niya. As I stated in my sponsorship speech, 99% of cases indicating that taking care of the health of the mother is taking care of the child and vice versa. So panay ang explain ni Commissioner Villegas, protection of the child starts with protection of the mother. So I wonder kung yung commission, has been really pushing for more prenatal check-up, more yung nutrition ng mother, etc. I assume you are. I'll assume positive.
Yes.
But yung nga sabi ko may hearing tayo. Because the progress of medical science, the situation where a moral dilemma exists are very, very few. The intention behind the statement is precisely for the state to make sure that it protects the life of the pregnant mother. She goes to all sorts of trouble as we discuss in the provision on health. Protecting the life of the mother, giving her all the necessary social services will protect the child. So it happens only in very, very few instances where we mention like ectopic pregnancies, where the fertilized ovum is implanted outside the uterus. I repeat, medical science has made the situation very clear, very, very exceptional, that we said that even in those intricacies, which I consider to be less than 1% of the situation, there is a moral principle referred to the principle of double effect, in which if one has to save the life of the mother in an operation, it is morally and legally permissible to operate, even if the child will have to be indirectly sacrificed. There is no murder involved because one does not intend the death of the child. One is correcting a medical aberration of the mother. And there are other discussions on this. So I cannot help but feel that when the commission advocates na gawin pa tong batas na klaro naman sa Constitution, it is also to address and to please the pro-abortion groups abroad who wants to see the Philippines slowly move towards abortion. I may be wrong, no? And of course, you may comment na napaka-ikli. As a rejoinder, I will stop there. But yun nga, Mr. President, with the agreement of the Senate, and if our good chairman, Senator Tolentino, would allow, I'd like to pursue this because I really feel that the Philippines should be the champion of pro-life. no, not only of the unborn, but everything about life, including the quality of life of our migrant workers, Mr. Chairman. But with the permission of Senator Estrada, I know he wants to continue tonight, but I think everyone is tired after 8 days. Senator Tolentino.
There's a slight manifestation, Mr. President, in response to the nudging of our good friend Senator Cayetano. Indeed, Mr. President, when the 1987 Constitution was discussed, that conversations between Commissioners Monsod and Abueva and the rest transpired, as the records would show. But the context then was about medication abortion, saving the life of the mother. And that was during the days of when Roe v. Wade was still in full acceptance. Third quarter of the life of a viable fetus. I don't want to go into this, but I agree with the good senator that everything that transpired here this morning should be taken up by the Senate Committee on Justice and Human Rights, motu proprio, in a separate hearing to clarify all of this, Mr. President, so we can have a consistent policy derived from the Commission on Human Rights. Because if you dilly-dally, if you prognosticate, it would appear that we don't have a consistent human rights foundation. So that's what appeared here today. Paiba-iba yung punto de vista ninyo. That's why you were castigated by almost the entire Senate because of your actuations, which is not reflective of what a Commission on Human Rights should be. Yun lang po, Mr. President. I agree with Senator Cayetano.
Mr. President, in closing, just for the record, Senator JV said his brother is not a dumb senator. He's a brilliant senator.
Yes, well, in closing, I just like to say I learned a new word today, prognosticate, from Senator Tolentino. Prognosticate. Which means, Senator Tolentino, please explain to us laymen what prognosticate means. What is that? Neither here, neither there, or neither here nor there? Very good. So, Majority Leader, may we do the... Yes, we'll wait for the motion to withdraw the suspension of our rules.
Mr. President, I move that we withdraw the suspension of our Senate rules. I so move, Mr. President.
There being no objection, motion's approved. So we finally end this budget.
Mr. President, there being no other member of this August chamber who would like to ask questions, I move that we close the period of interpellations and debate and consider the budget of the Commission on Human Rights Violations Victims Memorial Commission to be deemed submitted for the body's consideration. I so move, Mr. President.
Before our colleagues decide to stand up and leave, we're going to make one last appeal for a photo op with them. It's probably the longest marathon budget that we've had in a while. And therefore, right after I move through the submission of the budget, we'll suspend session so that we can have a photo, and then then we can adjourn till Wednesday for the benefit of all our senators.
Tomorrow.
So, yes.
I move for the previous motion, Mr.
Yeah,
President.
there be no other members who wish to debate the budget. Therefore, the budget of the Commission on Human Rights and all its attached agencies are deemed submitted. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Session suspended.
As for minute suspension.